It's Monday, it's Trail Talk Live. I am Aaron, and let's go and get Ricky into the room. Thanks for joining, everybody. We're waiting on Ricky to join, and then we're going to dig into the usual Trail Talk news and banter. There's the man there. What about you?
Yo, what's the crack? What's happening?
Oh, the crack is good. And how's the crack with you?
No crack, no crack. I have to apologize to everybody. I'm going to be a little bit sniffy because I have a stupid man flu, head cold at the minute. So you're going to have to deal with that. I can't
You've,
do anything about it.
you've
I'm
got a frog
tough
in your throat?
though. I've got a frog in my throat and I've got a frog up my nose as well.
All right, well, let's crack on. It's Monday. It's Trail Talk. I'm Aaron.
I'm Ricky Wynn.
Good on you. No delays this week. Had to cut that out before I put it on Spotify last week. Thanks to our sponsors, Tantrums, XMiles, GOREWEAR. You know where to get the links. Go and get some good discounts. The Tantrums discount in particular, Trail Talk 15 code, and that is 15% discount, which is more than you'll get anywhere else. So yeah, check that out. Cheers. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
didn't even
tell you,
realize I was using that soft flask.
there's hardly a tea bag in that, is there?
There's not. There's 1/5 of a Bix hydration remnant because the bottle's
Nah.
just been getting topped up.
Tea, man. Tea.
Well, I just went for my first proper dinner from getting down out of the mountain huts. So I posted it on
I
uh,
seen it. I seen it.
and I posted it on close friends. People can't go on nosy to see what I was eating from a dinner, but three-course dinner. Lovely meringue dessert. Oh man, it was delicious. But I'm sitting here
It,
full.
yeah, it looked legit, man. It looked unreal now, I have to say. I was saying that man that's some fine dining. That's some fine dining compared to what you've been doing the last week, like.
Oh man, Mars bars and pasta. That's all I've been getting. Proper dirtbag material. Look, what's the show about this week? We're gonna dig into our training. Obviously, I was doing something pretty interesting. We've got Tour de Géants happening this weekend, kicking off this Sunday. Epic shit. Epic shit. You know I'm a big Tour de Chance guy. Tour de Glacier, the big graduate level one. If you could graduate from the Tour 330, you graduate to the Tour de Glacier 450. It starts on Friday night. So Cormier, where I am now in the camper van, is about to get very busy. I'm parked right at the doors of the
Just,
sports
just,
centre.
just gonna cut you off just for anyone that's new in the chat. Tell them what tour is. Tell them exactly what tour is. How far is it? What are the stats? What are we talking?
Ricky Wynn's calling me out here. Good lad, good lad. You're on the ball. Tour de Géants is an anti-clockwise loop around the Aosta Valley in Italy. It's 330 kilometers, 25,000 meters of vertical gain. Course record is 70 something hours, and last year's winner was Francois Den. It is a competitive race, but it is another level to UTMB. Basically, if you think about UTMB, it's a loop around Mont Blanc, and to be able to do that, you are going up and over cols through valleys as these kind of ridges fall off of the Mont Blanc uh, massive. In the Aosta Valley, this is so big, you're going over each col between valleys, and whenever you actually see it on a 3D map, it's just nuts. It's just like over the call, over the call, over the call. You're just making your way around the Aosta Valley, going over these mountain calls. And man, this region is nuts. Like we talk about Chamonix and how steep and great the trails are. Honestly, it's like comparing the Lake District to Chamonix,
Yeah.
comparing Chamonix to the Aosta, not all of the Aosta, but 60% of it, 70% of it. You're maybe doing 5, 6, 7K with 300 meters per K of gain.
Oh man, it's
It's
mental.
it's nuts. So that's what tour is. But um why don't we talk about training? Because Worlds is coming up. What are we? We're the 8th of September whenever we're sitting here recording this. So what are we? Two, three. It'll be
Uh,
2 weeks from this weekend, right?
yeah, for me, I worked it out today. For me, I think it's 17 days for me because my race I think is the 27th, you know. So I think it'll be starting on the 24th. That'll be the first race. But I think I've got 17 days until it. So it's like 17 days is a funny one. It's like, yeah, I want to taper, but if I feel like it's too soon to taper, or is it time enough to taper, you know? So I don't know. To be honest with you, I think my body's telling me it's time to taper anyway, where I'm picking up something that I never ever get sick. I never pick up anything. I could be beside somebody that's sneezing on top of me and I don't get sick. But I've picked something up and then maybe it's just like coming back from Chamonix, 2 big weeks over in Chamonix, a bit of travelling, this, that and the other, straight back into work, back up on the roof in the pissing rain in Ireland. And I pick something up, but I'm fine. I'm fine with that. And believe me, I feel good. It's the only thing is my head is blocked up. Other than that, I had another decent week of training, so I think I ran. It's gonna feel like mediocre compared to like the last 2 weeks I had in Chamonix. And also, when I ask you about your fucking training week, it's gonna feel awful because you had a monster of a week. So I ended up with something like 120 kilometers. I think maybe 11 hours of training, something like that. But I had some good quality work in there. I had a lot of speed work in there because I missed out on some speed work when I was over in Chamonix. So I was just ramping up the speed work. I did, I think, 4 sessions last week. So I did.
Jeez.
Yeah. And then I
Man,
had
to be able to
a,
tolerate that says something.
yeah, and then like I'm feeling good. Every day was nearly they were all nearly interval sessions, feeling good on them. But they weren't extreme intervals. I was doing like 5 by a K on off that kind of way, and then just getting the legs turning over again. And then I had a long run on Saturday over in Wicklow. That was 40K with a mate of mine who again is in great shape. So the two of us were pushing pretty hard. I think we ended up averaging at something like 5:43 per kilometer for 40K. So that was with around 2,000 meters of climbing. So that was a good session. And then I backed that session up with something that I actually love doing, is where I do a long mountain run, and then the next day I do a fast tempo session, and I love doing that. It just it mixes everything up. It lets the body know that I need you to go hard and long and strong, and I need you to be able to run fast on tired legs. And I love running fast on tired legs. It just gives me a huge confidence boost that okay, when I get into a race situation and I am tired, I need to know that I can still run hard and I can still run fast, you know. So for me, it was a good week. And then this week is my taper week.
It must have felt like a piece of piss running in Wicklow after coming back from Chamonix.
Not really. Honestly, I would have said I'd agree with you any other time, but for whatever reason, just last week was an intense week of work as well. So I was tired. So when I got down to Wicklow, I was like going, Jesus, man. I actually said to the lad I was going to run when I says, I don't know how I'm going to run 40K. I'm wrecked. But you are able to do it, and it's fine and everything feels good, but I felt really tired, like as in my legs felt tired, but I felt great, if you know what I mean. My engine felt really strong, my lungs, my head, everything like that felt really strong. My legs felt tired and heavy, but then I was able to back it up with a tempo run the next day, and I felt great. But I'll also tell you another reason why I felt great. I felt really good because I picked this little bad boy up.
Yo!
You know, how am I turning this around? I picked this little bad boy up while I was down in Wicklow after the run. So, like, do you know what I mean? I tried it on when I got home. I tried on my shorts. I wanted to make sure that it looked good, it felt good, and it worked good. And that's kind of probably why I ran that little bit quicker on the Sunday as well.
Yeah, and for anyone that's just listening, you held up your Irish jersey for the Worlds.
Mm.
Yeah, it looked good. I saw you stick that picture up on Instagram the other day. Um, yep, with a match in. Alba shades, green on
Yeah,
green.
when I actually won the Granite Peaks race, I got in touch with like Alba Optics. They helped me out, like, so I'm one of like their brand ambassadors, one of their athletes. So I reached out to them and I says, "Is there any chance I can get a green pair of shades because I need a green pair to match the Irish kit?" So they hooked me up. So that was class. But now I think we need to delve into your numbers for the week because wait a second now, wait a second. These numbers are huge. These are huge now. These Your descending is bigger than your ascending. So tell us what you've been getting up to this week.
Before we get into that, I just need to shout out Max Jolliffe Unsolicited Memes. That is the most unhinged meme account on the internet right now. So make sure you follow for some, pure dirt is the best way. But he's saying that you should be doing the show in your Irish jersey. I kind of
Yeah.
agree, but I don't want you to change. But maybe the pre-Worlds show you have to come in full kit. We want the Alba shades on and everything.
Yeah, yeah, let's do
Full
it.
kit
Yeah, yeah,
wanker.
yeah, yeah. I think I'm allowed to be a full kit wanker. I'm allowed to be a full kit wanker.
Absolutely, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. All right, the stats. So yeah, when did I start? I started Wednesday morning, so this was Wednesday to Sunday. Or it was actually Tuesday to Sunday. Those stats: 169 kilometers, 10,000 meters of gain, 12,000 meters of descent, and 36 hours. So pretty happy with that. I thought,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. But was your quad not sore when I was in Chamonix? You weren't able to run downhill when I was in Chamonix, and now you're running down 12,000 fucking meters.
but look, I had a lot of patience the whole time I was in Chamonix. I didn't do any straight up, straight down runs. None. I didn't go run up to the Balcon, didn't run up the Refuge Belichat, which is my favourite run. So
Mm.
I will not run that now until next year. So I was patient because I knew I was just happy to be able to run and I didn't want to be stricken with a calf strain or a quad strain or something. So the intensity of the fast packing was also low. Now my pack was about 8 kilos. So fucking shoulders are a bit sore, mate.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's only from the running. Like if you're just moving or moving quite quickly or whatever, you don't get it. But if you start to pick up the pace, like if there was a flatter section or something slightly up, slightly down that you were going to run, and because it just would have taken too long to walk, you did get a bit of bounce. But
What pack are you wearing? What pack are you actually wearing on that fast pack?
Ultimate Direction 20 liter fast pack 20, it's called.
Yeah,
I actually bought that in 2016, I think it was. That's how old that pack is. That's
yeah.
my fast packing pack from when I used to do the fell running rounds, and I used to do them over like 2 days just to learn the terrain, just moving slow, like 45K a day, and then just sleep in the mountains in a bivvy. So
Yeah, yeah. A brother, my older brother, he's got the exact same pack as that actually, and yeah, he loves it. He loves it. He loves it. And again, he has it a lifetime, and I don't think there's any rips or tears in it. So quality piece of
yeah,
product. Yeah,
I have been getting questions about like what gear and stuff that I carry, and like I booked into huts along the way, so I didn't have to carry anything, a sleeping bag or any stuff to sleep rough. What did I carry? I had obviously the clothes I was wearing. I had a spare change of socks, and I wore Path Projects shorts, and they don't have a liner, so I then had like a liner, and then I swapped between that and Satisfy shorts. So one day I could have running shorts on, the next day I could have the Path shorts on, and I could just wash or rinse. You just rinse them,
yeah.
rinse the sweat off the shorts, man. Oh Jesus, they were bad some days. And do the same with the socks. And
But
you,
how smelly are the socks? I don't care. You can wash socks in under a tap all you want, man. But when they smell, that smell doesn't go away.
you know what your running stuff smells like. You know not to sniff it. but I actually check. I had to like, I was just curious, what do these socks smell like after 10 hours in the mountains? 3,500 meters of art. And it like, it was like smelling salts. It
Yeah.
totally woke me up. And that was like, right, these are going under the tap and time to change socks. So I change socks, I swap socks every 2 days. In the pack though, I had a lightweight, um, puffy. It's like less than 200 grams. It's a Mountain Hardwear Ghost something, not even a hood on it. And I had a micro fleece Satisfy. I had a plain cotton t-shirt, just a thin one to wear in huts at night. I had the GOREWEAR track pants, and they were for night, but they would also double up if bad weather came in. That meant I could put on long bottoms. I had Kailas waterproof raincoat and waterproof trousers, and that was in case it rained when I was moving. But then I went into the Decathlon and I bought a poncho. Like it was probably a little bit heavy. It was probably maybe like 300 grams. But see, if I got hit in the storm, I could just pull that poncho over me, over the
Over
pack,
the
over
pack, yeah.
everything. And the reality was, I could have woke up some morning in a hut, and it could have been bad weather, and I would have had at least 3 hours to get out of the mountains. So I could just put that on. Never had to use it,
I was going to
but
say it looked like you got lucky with the weather, and it wasn't like Chamonix the week before because we got a lot of rain when I was there in Chamonix, and then I was thinking you were probably going to get the same when you headed over. But once you went over to the Courmayeur side to the Aosta Valley, you seem to get great weather.
yeah, I started a day later. I was absolutely dead after UTMB, so I started a day later, and also the Monday was poor. The Monday or the Tuesday was bad weather, so I just kind of thought, well, there's two reasons to delay it, and drove over Tuesday, started Wednesday morning. Actually, you know what? I wish I started on Wednesday morning. I started Wednesday lunchtime because it took me so long of so many failed attempts to get last week's podcast uploaded. Oh man, so stressful. I did the first 1,500-meter climb, editing the podcast on my phone. It totally killed the experience.
Oh, puke. Yeah.
It's terrible. That's why the podcast was late last week, because I binned the phone. I was like, this is going in the pack. I need to forget about this and enjoy what I'm here for. So it was perfect training, heavy pack, long days, 30K, 30K, 42K, 30K. And then I would have still been doing it now. The plan was maybe to do it the Wednesday, but bad weather came in. And also the hut yesterday got cancelled. They sent me a WhatsApp message that says we're closing this afternoon. I'm 23K into like 32K day. So I'd done a 20K descent, 2,000 meters, 20K, and I'd just come into this little town. And then the next was, it was something, it was nuts. It was like 1,800 meters over 8K or something like this, and or 10K maybe. And got the message, and I just had to like find alternative accommodation. It meant that if I wanted to continue on the route and get another day out of it, today would have had to have been 47K and nearly 4,000 meters of climbing.
Yeah.
With fast packing, I couldn't have done that without some head torch work, and I didn't want to do more than 10 hours.
Yeah.
So I just thought, you know what, you've had a good run of it. It's the start of a fresh week. It's tour week. Let's get the Courmayeur, start planning the work that's coming up. So I've seen 70% of the course. I know some of the northern sections from, like, I'd always go camping there the last couple of years. So I know some of those sections already. So leaves a little bit to check out next year. But
Yeah.
we got some questions on Instagram about tour, about fast packing. So maybe I'll answer a couple of those. I've already comment on some of that stuff already. But some of the questions came in was, I was wearing the Satisfy River shirt. I went into Ravenel in Chamonix. I wanted a long sleeve top, with a hood, SPF 50 or something, so I wouldn't have to put on sunscreen anywhere but my face. And they didn't have anything, and I ended up dropping, I don't know, what was it, €300, €320 on a shirt.
Jesus, Jesus.
And I messaged Andy Glaze and said, "You're a bastard. I think you may have influenced me, you dickhead."
Well, do you know that shirt? Do you know that shirt? I saw something the other day where there was a girl on a gravel bike and she was getting, she was doing some gravel race or something. But she had one of those kind of shirts. But you know what it was? It was a UPS shirt, like the delivery driver shirt. And she just had it on her, two buttons done on the top of it. It was genuinely a UPS driver's shirt. And it
Yeah.
looked so cool on her. Like, it looked deadly.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure the river shirt looked that cool on me, but it certainly felt good. It was like it feels better than it looks. So I enjoyed that. I wore it every day. Just turned the collar up to give my neck a bit more protection if the sun was behind me. So someone's asking river shirt review. Look, it's good. It's nice. It's expensive. I kind of wish I got a different color, but I got the color that was there, and I needed to get something. One of the other questions, did it cost much? The huts cost about 65 to €75 a night, and that is bed, breakfast, and dinner.
I saw you had a pint. So who paid for the pint? Is that just off your back?
Every day I had a pint.
Yeah.
Every day I had a pint, and one day I think I had a quarter of wine as well. So, and I was basically nearly buying them out of Mars bars and Snickers because that was what I was eating the next day, and they were £2 each. You're paying like a lot of these huts to get their supplies via helicopter, so
Yeah, yeah.
you're paying a premium.
Yeah, but it's the same. It's the same. If you're up at the top of Brabant or Flagere in Flagere, if you're up the top Flagere or Flagere in Chamonix, you're going to pay the go to €6 for a can of Coke because somebody's got to pay to get it up there, right? So that's just it. Like you're going to pay big money for a can of Coke at the top of a mountain. I'm sorry, but the tax on the can of Coke at the top of the mountain is high.
Helicopter fuel, baby. Um,
Yeah.
Next question was, are you going to run the race? I want to run the race, and coming away from that fast packing, I actually feel like I know the right effort to do the race.
Mm.
And that is the big takeaway from this. I actually know how hard it is and where it was really hard. Like the first 100K of it is absolutely nuts, mate. Like you climb up to like 2,000 meters. So you're up at the kind of Alpine Valley, and you just look at the skyline, and you're like, where the fuck could the call be? Because everything just looks, like straight up and rocky, and like you need to get closer to realize, oh, there is a way. And you maybe go over a call, and you're going down something really steep on the other side, and then it's just straight up again. Like you're just going up and over calls. And the first 100K was just, they were, it was hard going, amazing, awesome views, loads of pictures on my Instagram, but doesn't do it justice. Like the
Yeah.
eye just sees so much more. Um, Next question.
But hard to like for you like, or for anyone that ever wants to think about doing that race. Like each between each life base is an extreme race. Like it's an extreme race. It's from one section to the other is a huge day. I mean a huge day with huge distance and huge vert, and they stack on top of each other. Man, it's a
Yeah,
serious hard race.
for anyone that doesn't know, you have like a drop, you have a single drop bag, and they transport it to the life bases, and the life bases are spread out roughly 50K apart. And I guess it would be reasonable to think you're going to see that bag once every day. But between seeing that bag, you're doing about 50K and about 5,000 meters again. So
Yeah.
if you think about like a hard 50K, how many 50Ks, for example, do you know even have 5,000 meters? I don't know
Yeah.
any. Like a
If
hard
I,
50K
yeah,
might have three and a half.
and that's a sky race. That's a sky race. And sky races are the most technical races on the planet, like. So you're doing a sky race and more every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know how to run that race now, and I might give it a go, but I think it would be foolish to think that you would race it. Like, I think I would, if I hadn't have done this recce, I would have started that race and wrecked myself,
Mm.
and then had a horrendous back half. Whereas now I feel like I could probably quite consistently just climb for days on end if I kept it in the region of like 10 to 15-minute kilometers plus
Mm.
you get like two, you can stay for 2 hours in each life base. So
When?
um
When?
next year,
Nice. Nice. Good man.
life is
Oh,
for living, mate.
yeah.
If not next year, when
You
do I
heard
want to
it.
be older?
Yeah, we heard it here. We heard it here. It's on Trail Talk. It's live on Instagram. Aaron is doing tour next year, and Ricky's crewing.
Oh Jesus. I have to leave you in control of the camper van for a week.
Yeah.
Next question. How did you fuel it? Simple. No gels, no sports nutrition. The first day I thought, oh, you know what? I'll go over this first call. I'll drop down into Lathule, a village. I've been there before. I know there's some shops. I'll pick up a couple of bits. So I just need two Cliff Bars to get me over to there. Oh well. Went over to that village, everything closed. So the first 8 hour day I did in two Cliff Bars.
Nice. Uh,
And I never got hungry. I came away out of that first day going, the intensity is so low. Like the intensity was like never more than 140 something heart rate, and I don't have extremes of heart rate, so like that's top of zone one, bottom of zone two type of material.
yeah.
And so I kind of just used that method the whole way through. I did find that as the days went on, I was getting hungrier. So
Yeah.
I just ended up eating more. Like the next day, I probably had two Cliff Bars. The next day was another 7 hours or something. Probably had two Cliff Bars and maybe about two Mars bars and two Bounties. That was it.
Y-
And then on the
Yeah.
third day, I started to feel a bit nauseous, and it's because I wasn't taking salt. So I opened up Google Translate and found out how to say, can I have the saltiest meat and cheese in your deli? And I walked out with a slab of cheese and slab of meat. I'm telling you, this meat had it had a beard on it. This cured meat.
A sodium beard. A sodium beard.
And about 3 hours after eating that, electrolytes were rebalanced and
Mm.
we were good to go.
B-
So, yep,
But
simply fueled.
I'd imagine, like if you were racing that, you would be like you would almost do it the same way because you would have to because your intensity would be a bit lower. And I just think that for the time spent on that course, you don't want to be hammering gels. You want to be taking in as much real food as possible. Like,
The best I felt was whenever was eating the cheese and stuff, because you felt like you were full
yeah,
and you weren't moving fast enough that it mattered if you had a full stomach.
yeah.
So the only thing I would change would be carry salt pills.
Yeah, and like, and you know, the first race you ever did when you went to France or you went to somewhere in Europe and you saw a slab of cheese on an aid station table and you were like, what the hell is this crack about? Who wants to eat cheese in a race? But in that race, like, I don't eat cheese, but I mean, if I wasn't vegan, I'd be looking for the cheese, like.
Yeah, we'll get you, what do they call the fake cheese? Shees. We'll get you some shees. Right, next question. 330 or Pro for Tour? And talking about the Kailash shoes, I should have had it sitting here. I wore the 330. The 330 is actually for the Tour de Géants 330 kilometers. So I wore that shoe kind of because I wanted to test it. I wanted to give it a good rip on the course it was designed for.
Mm.
If it didn't have it, I probably would have wore the rocker because I find it comfortable. But I wore the Kailash shoe, outstanding. The only bad thing about it now is the smell.
Yeah.
They're fucking stinking. I mean, they are humming. So they're underneath the van right now because they're not staying in the van with me. So the 330, not the Pro.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Last two questions on this: Tour or TMB for first fast packing next year? I would definitely say not Tour. It's
Yeah.
too much of a it's too technical and difficult in places and just brutal. But I would also say that the TMB for me, I wouldn't do it just because it's so busy. So I would do Tour, but if maybe the TMB I would do if it was quieter or a different time, a quieter time of year.
I did TMB the week after. This is back in I think 2017, 2018. But I did it the week after UTMB. So pretty much the same time you started tour it, and it was perfect. It was busy in spots, in some spots, but the majority of it was quiet, and it was way quieter than it would have been like in the week before or even the week before that. So like the first week after UTMB, I think it's a great time to do it. God, did it freeze? Did
Yeah,
it?
we're good. I
Ah.
knew what happened, so the audience needed to hear what you had to say, not particularly me. So we're good. How does the infrastructure for fast packing the Tour de France compare to the TMB? Uh, I mean, infrastructure, it's mountain huts, so probably the tour ones are easier to book. I never had any issues. I found a few of them are closed. Maybe they're taking a week off before they're busy as hell next week with the Tour de France. So, infrastructure wise, maybe the French ones are busier. That's it. But they're mountain huts. I used ChatGPT and I put in the huts that I wanted to use and said, get me the contact details. And it threw out a load of email addresses. I just put an email, the date, and asked if I could, and they just replied, and yes, see, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
happy as that. So, that's it in the questions. Anything before we wrap up in fast packing?
No, it's just deadly, and I'm sorry I'm not there doing it as well. That's all.
I know you sure you would have busted my balls if you were doing that.
Yeah, I'd have blew up on day two, I'd say.
It was honestly like it was the yin and yang from UTMB week. There was I was going into valleys and I took like my aftershocks in case I wanted to listen to music at any one time. I didn't listen to nothing. The mountain huts had no service. The only time you ever got internet access was in the valley, and it was maybe 1 bar of 5G. And what do you got to do? You got to send a video message to your wife. You've got to reply to every message that you've got in the past 24 hours, probably, and then on you go. So,
Mm.
um, it was nice to switch off. So that was one of the forced things that happened, which was I knew it would happen, and I just kind of just let it happen. So,
Yeah. You have to just go with it.
but I still made my vlogs, and then I edited them offline, and then I just uploaded it in the valley. And generally,
Mm.
I get down at the valley. I go somewhere, buy a can of Coke or maybe two. Like I was slamming 2 cans of Coke. Yeah, give me 100 grams of carb, 250 milligrams of caffeine. Let's go, and an ice cream, and let the reel upload or whatever. Um, right, the Tour de Géants is this
Yeah.
weekend. Trail Talk schedule is this. I will be following Franco Colli, the four-time champion and course record holder from the Aosta Valley, Kailas Fuga athlete. I'll be following his journey as he attempts to win the race for a fifth time. He missed the race last year with a knee injury, and like this is seen as his race. This would be like I don't know, like back in the day when Thevenard was like the prince of the UTMB. Like
Yeah.
this is he's
Jeez,
local,
yeah.
everyone knows him, so that this is going to be a special experience.
Am,
There's all
am I right in saying that Francois' time last year was 3 hours slower than Franco's course record time? Is that
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Like
And
that's insane.
well, you need to see a time against someone that you already know, and I guess a lot of people who are maybe just graduated up to the UTMB level might not be up to date with the names and things that would happen at Tour, but whenever you throw Francois' name into the mix, it's a barometer of, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, we know
yeah,
how
yeah.
good he is, and he couldn't break the record.
Yeah, and it is. Tour is one of those races. Even for me, it's kind of out of my depth, as in the caliber of athletes that are doing this. There's a lot of them that are unknown to me. It's just they're not in the mainstream because these races, these distances aren't really in the mainstream just yet.
Yeah, there's a couple of other races, but let's dig into the elite field. The other race is Tour de Glacier, I mentioned it earlier, but then there's also the Tot Dret, which is 130k. But you know
Mm.
what? A lot of people do this race, and when they save it to Strava, it works out closer to like 150.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's the way to think about the Tour 130 or the Tot Dret. Um, it's the TDS of the tour weekend. So
yeah.
it starts. I forget what day it starts. Actually, it starts after the 3:30. Similar finishing day to the 3:30, but it's a beast of a race. A lot of people do it thinking that's I'll do it and then I'll do the tour the next year, and you
Yeah.
do it and it's so hard, and they're like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Because the 130 starts in Gresini, which is like 200 kilometers into the race. And you know what I said about the first 100k? It's the hardest bit.
Yeah, yeah. And then when anyone does sign up to that and they're talking to somebody and someone asks them, "Are you doing tour?" And they go, "Oh no, no, I'm only doing the small one." And you know what
I
I mean?
know.
It's like, come on, it's not a small one. It's 130k with massive, massive amounts of elevation in it. Like,
Yeah, but I don't think they should be saying they're doing tour. They should be saying they're
no,
doing tour 130, I think.
yeah, 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 true, yeah,
All right, look, the elite field. Let's start with the women. This is Trill Talk. You know our style. These are the people that I think are worth a note, interesting to me for whatever reasons. On that note, thanks for sticking with it on Instagram. If you can't stick around, it's on all the podcast players. I'll have it up tomorrow. I found a wee cafe with Wi-Fi. We're good. We're good. We're getting this uploaded within 24 hours, so it'll be up on YouTube and Spotify tomorrow evening. We're breaking a little bit of news. Claire Bamworth, who is, well, she's just a beast. She,
mm,
she she does so well at all of these massive, massive hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kilometer races, anything over 100 miles, and she crushes it. She's off the start list. Don't know what's wrong with her. She's not officially off the start list. I just know from some of the stuff that's been circulated that her name's scrubbed. So sorry to see that she's not going to be there, because she actually would have been one of the favorites.
yeah, exactly. Well, she was third last year. Am I right? Third last year. Like, so yeah, exactly. Like, she definitely would have been up there challenging for the win. So I only like that. You literally told me that about 5 seconds before we came on the show, and I was like, ah, no, man, she can't believe she's gone. I can only
I
go,
had a whole
yeah,
paragraph I was going to say about her.
yeah, exactly. So that's disappointing, but there's still lots of other good runners in there.
Yeah, let's get the scrubs out of the way. Sabrina Verjee, the British athlete based in Lake District, La Sportiva runner, she is not starting either, and she has form at this race. She raced hard last year. It was fun watching her racing with Lisa Berzani, who's previous winner. So I think Sabrina's dropping down to a different distance. So maybe it's obviously not an injury. Maybe just training wasn't what she needed.
Yeah.
So she's dropped down. So sorry to see that. But One person I'm guessing you're probably interested in is Annie Hughes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For me, it's Annie Hughes. I think Annie Hughes is my pick for the win because just some of the stuff that she's done. She's come away from winning Tahoe 200, like so. If you were to jump from one race into another and you came from the win, I'd be thinking, well, she's on form. She's got to be feeling really strong. She's got to be feeling really confident. So Annie Hughes is definitely one to watch this weekend for me.
Yeah, it'd be fun seeing how Annie does. She's definitely very good at that 200-mile distance.
Yeah,
She seems to go after it. Uh, I've another female that I think is very interesting in the field is Caitlin Gerben,
yeah,
stepping up. Previous podium finisher at UTMB. Can't remember what year it was. It's maybe like 22 or 23, maybe 22. And she just won Cascade Crest earlier on this year, so she's got her Hard Rock qualifier for
that's
the
right.
lottery,
Yeah, yeah,
which I'm guessing that's the reason. But she's also lives in that's her regional qualifier anyway. She's from the Pacific Northwest, so I think it'll be interesting to see how she does. She is into mountaineering. She did the Infinity Loop FKT around Mount Rainier, which involved like proper mountaineering and running, just like gritty,
yeah.
but also athletic.
Yeah, very athletic because she was third in a 50K Skyline race there as well, only lately as well this year. So like she's not only good at the long stuff, she's good at the shorter stuff, the technical stuff, so she can move pretty quick in the mountains like.
Yeah, and then someone that whenever I look at the results, Denise Zimmerman, previous winner of this race, going back like 10 years, I went on to her ITRA profile to see her race history. And granted, she does a lot of the same races over, like you can see, she's done maybe races 6 times, but that's also because she's in her later 40s. She's been doing ultras and mountain ultras long enough that her first tour, which was a podium, was like 2015 or something. She has podiums at UTMB going back to before the Columbia days.
Yeah.
But more recently, like if you look at her results, she's still getting like first, second, third, two-time winner the last 2 years of the Eiger 250.
Yeah.
So, like, if she's coming in ready, that experience, like that's the type of thing that can, really make the difference. Caitlin
Yeah.
Gervin's going into this and it's new territory.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll say Caitlin could go in and try and race it hard, like as in run it hard and end up like after like whatever 25, 26 hours in the bin. Whereas in ah zero
Denise,
Denise is so experienced, so good over this kind of terrain. This is her distance, this is her wheelhouse, she's gonna be very, very strong and very sure of herself in it as well, yeah.
you nearly had a wee tantrum there. Yeah, so some interesting athletes there. I mentioned Lisa Berzani. She's back again. She's from the region. She always shows up for this race. She's a bit like Franco in the sense that she's seen as local, and honestly, it kind of it there is favoritism shown there. Crews and things will get a little bit more flexibility about accessing aid stations and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Like this isn't like UTMB where that's spread out, but it still feels very much like part of a race course. This you're running over mountain valleys, or calls into these remote valleys, and these are little small communities of like 30 buildings and things. And if you go over this village and all your families in that wee village, you might get a bit of favoritism. But look, home field advantage is a thing.
yeah,
So
definitely.
there's nothing wrong with it. In my eyes, I don't think anyone takes a piss with it. But moving on to the men's field,
Yeah,
what about what about? Sanjay Sherpa. He just finished and won Swiss Peak 700k while running up a hill playing a flute.
I know, but there's a bit of this going on, eh? Do you know what I mean? There's a bit of this going on because, like, I can't understand how he's even lining up to this. How is he even able to walk? Like, he's just after doing 700 kilometers, and I just can't get my head around that. But you also have the other Chinese lad, Zhao, right? Who's finished 10th at UTMB, and he's on the start list for Tour as well. And I'm like going, what are these lads eating and drinking that they can recover and go into a race such as Tour?
There's a question.
Like, it's insane.
Mars bars.
Mars bars and Snickers. I don't know, man. I don't think that's cutting it. I don't think that's cutting it.
I don't get it. Like I've made that joke that if chronic fatigue exists, Sanjay Sherpa should have it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like how can you not be digging a hole month after month, racing these massive distances? Like to finish 700k last week and then start tour next weekend. Like
Yeah.
you're not you the science is already out that in post like 100 miler for a week you're burning calories without doing nothing
Yeah, something like 3,000 calories
a day.
a day, with just sitting there, just sitting in one spot, not moving out of your fucking house. And this lad's getting ready to race 330 kilometers. And it's not 330 kilometers, probably 350 kilometers because it's Tour.
Yeah, I
Man.
I need to speak to him. It's one of the requests I put into Kailas was, look, I need to speak to him. I need to have a conversation with Sanjay Sherpa because
Yeah, we
he's
all need to know. We
he's
all
an
need to
absolute
know.
weapon.
Yeah.
I better not get no smiles and nachos like a Courtney DeWalder answer. We need some hard facts. Like, what are you eating from Nepal that's making you an absolute legend?
Yeah, what's porridge? What kind of porridge do they eat in Nepal? That's what
Yeah.
I'd like to know. You know, it's like the Kenyans have a ugali, and we've got porridge. What's he got?
Yeah, I will find out. It's my mission. Uh, Kim Collison,
Hmm.
he is back for another crack at tour. This year is the year that he finally cracked the winter spine. He did have like some stomach issues and things that were the reason that he DNF'd this race and the spine many other times, and he solved that problem. So he's carrying that fix through winning the winter spine. And I was actually speaking to him at the finish line at UTMB, and he's just in great form. He's looking forward to Tour 330. So interesting to see what Kim will do.
Yeah, yeah, I know, and it's like I'm glad you mentioned him because I was thinking, yeah, we have to give a special mention to Kim because I was just thinking he won the spine, the winter spine, and I was just thinking, I wonder where he is, like, and how he's feeling, and like you said, you were just talking to him, and he's feeling good, feeling relaxed. So yeah, I'm interested in seeing how he gets on in the race. That's for sure.
He will be at the front, and he'll run a smart race. I know that whenever after UTMB week. So this period now through to the race, he went to teens. So he was up at altitude, just getting some acclimatization in. So yeah, wishing Kim well, and it'll be good to see how he does. John Kelly is
Yeah,
back for a fifth attempt, two DNFs, two grinded outs in a time that I would find respectable. Um, after pulling out of his Appalachian Trail FKT. So I don't know. What do you think of John Kelly?
yeah,
Fifth time lucky?
yeah. I seen him in Chamonix. He was there at UTMB week, and like John Kelly, he's very unassuming. It's hard to know what way he is. You know what I mean? It's you never look at him and go, yeah, he looks unbelievably fit, or he looks lean, or he looks in shape. He just looks like a dude. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing really like stand out with him, and that's the way he is. That's the way he's kind of always been. And I just don't know because he didn't have a wonderful spine, right? He didn't have it. I think he was fifth and
Fourth.
fourth, right? And he had a tough day out there. And then the Appalachian Trail, he had a very tough time there as well. So I just don't know. Like, and I don't know where his head is at, you know. And he's coming in here again, probably trying to, obviously wants to probably try and win the race. But then I just think sometimes he can dig himself a huge hole, and he can't get out of that hole. He puts himself in holes a lot of the time. That's the only thing I worry about John. I love
Yeah,
John. I think he's class, but he just likes to put himself in a tough situation.
I, again, if you jump back a few years, this was his superpower. His ability to just suffer and go for days on end, thinking about like the Wainwrights, the three big peaks in the UK, and
Yeah,
cycling between them all, and like all of the stuff that he's done, like that all required like just in the zone, grind it out. And whenever you're grinding it out like that, you are digging a hole. But
mm.
then he's just had a run of things not going his way. So I don't
Yeah.
know what that means.
Sometimes it just means that the grind isn't there. It's just it's not what it was. You know, like I can only imagine like how much that takes, like how much that hurts the body year after year of that putting yourself in those holes. You know, we kind of see it with Zach Miller at the minute where he puts himself in so many holes that now it's beginning to kind of catch up with him, and he is carrying more niggles, more injuries that are taking longer and longer to recover from because again, you're getting older, you're not as young as you once were, you're not as mobile as you once were, and I just think that grinding that much has a massive impact.
Maybe he's got nothing left to grind.
Yeah, but again, you just never know with John Kelly. John Kelly could totally. I could eat all these words, and I hope I do eat all these words, but I just don't. I just wonder. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a fair point, and I think he goes into it wanting to run a time, thinking, I think it'll take this time to win it, and he goes out to try and do that time.
Yeah.
Whereas I think some people would go out and just run the race that they're in.
Yeah, yeah. A comment there from Max Jolie memes. He said, "I've been putting myself in holes for years. Doesn't end well." Like there you go. Like you know, end well for any of us. You know,
I don't think we can refer to that
get the
account as Max.
get the shovel. Get the shovel.
Max meme account, that is the abbreviation. Someone else that I wanted to mention is Will Peterson. If you go on the start list on Fantasy Free Trail, right? He's like one from the bottom or two from the bottom. It's because the guy doesn't race. He's an FKT guy. He has a podcast, in the backcountry or something along those lines. It's a good podcast, and he's been coached by Jack Kunzel for Tour, and he
Cool.
just actually finished a day or two ago doing the exact same thing as me. So I was on looking at his Strava to see how much quicker he was than me, and like he wasn't that much quicker than me, but he covered a bit more ground. But just trying to put it into perspective, it was his first time over this side of the pond doing anything like this. And I got a funny story about this actually, but last year, I think, I forget when it was maybe around this time last year. And I think I'd heard it on the podcast or wherever I heard he called this shot and said, I think he could come over here and do well or whatever. Because I think he's had like the Long Trail FKT, which has a similar kind of stats to the tour, but like whenever you compare a distance and an ascent, I mean, it's so one dimensional a view that there's no context to it. Um, but I had messaged Jack and said, as a joke, what I'm like, a joke on the edge of sarcasm. And
Mm.
I'd message Jack and says, "Is this another American thinking they can come to the Alps and clean up or something along those lines?" Anyway, fast forward to a few months ago, and I was messaging Will because he's been doing a podcast with Jack about the training, and he shared with me that my message to Jack has been his background on his phone as a
Yeah.
motivator for months. And I'm like, I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. That's in your face. Yeah, yeah,
So I just like, I I can laugh about it. I know he can laugh about it,
yeah.
and
He can actually take your meme that you already came up with this week. He said he could take that. What is that again? It doesn't fucking matter.
it doesn't fucking matter. Yeah, that's it. That's it. So
Yeah.
for the record, I wish Will Peterson the best. I may see him before the race. I sent him a message, see if he wants to have a coffee
Mm.
before the
But
race. So
but
I'm
that
sure we'll catch up.
but somebody like him is kind of what tour is all about too, you know, because it is the unknown, and there's a lot of people in this race that we don't know a lot about, and they can perform really well in these kind of races. That this is ultra running at its finest. I think this distance is so incredibly hard to figure out and to manage and to predict that you just never know what can happen in something that's 330 kilometers long.
True, but I am a firm believer, and this is my closing comment on it, that on a training block, and you read Coop's book or whatever, and the closer to the race, you get more specific. The specificity, you're dialing in the specificity. Well, you
Mm,
know what specificity Franco Colli has? He's fucking from the Aosta Valley.
yeah, yeah,
He grew up here. He's been that. That is why Killian is a beast. He grew up in the huts.
yeah,
These are the huts that I'm hiking up to and staying in. That's why we see Killian eating a bit of old bread and Nutella, and we're going, how can he be eating that? Because that's what they give you in the huts for your breakfast.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like, Will could certainly go well, but I will flipping, I don't know, I'll bet my Satisfied River shirt that he can't beat Franco Coley.
yeah. It's true. Like at the end of the day, you're in Franco's back garden. Like,
So, anyway, enough about that. Let us move on. Uh, weren't we going to tackle the mantra, right?
yeah,
Didn't we
yeah,
say we were going to tackle the mantra? We need to wrap it up soon. We've just hit it. We've just hit an hour. So you got your keep showing up, which is great. It's like, it's grounded in consistency. Isn't that, that's
yeah,
what it's
yeah.
about, right?
That's what it's about. Yeah, that's all it's about, really. You know.
But that is the number one thing that matters is consistency, like doing the training, right?
Yeah,
But when you're in a race or you're out training and you feel shite or whatever, there's always highs and lows. And you look and you're like, oh, I wonder that's the summit there, or that wonder. I bet if you just go round here, that'll be the next checkpoint. For years, I've always said, doesn't matter,
yeah,
doesn't matter, doesn't fucking matter. It shuts down the what's next. It shuts down the potential for disappointment. Oh, the aid station wasn't around the corner. What does it matter? You need to go round the corner anyway. What does it matter where the aid station is? The race is 100k. You've 70k to go. You got to do the 70k, regardless of whether the aid station is round the corner or round three fucking corners.
yeah.
So it doesn't fucking matter. That is my mantra.
Well, I'll tell you why I really like that mantra, right? Because I do often think about this, and it's why I nearly say training's better than racing, right? Because if I'm out on a training run and I'm on my own and I drove to where I'm going running and I'd run 25k out the road away from my car, away from the way of getting home. And at 25k, I don't want to run anymore. It doesn't matter because I have to go back to get into that car if I want to go home. I can't ring my wife. I can't ring the race director. I can't look for help or just go off trail and get a taxi home or something like that. I can't do that. I have to run back to the car to get home. And that's why I always think that people need to think like that as well in races, that don't be thinking that, oh, it's hurting now and da da da, and I want to give up, you know, because and I'm not saying if you're injured, you're injured, but sometimes all you want to do is maybe give up because something gets hard. But if you actually like trick your brain into thinking that the car is at the finish line and that's the only way I'm getting home is if I get into that car. So it doesn't fucking matter. Get to the car.
That's it. And I think that this leads into killing, cutting the head off procrastination.
Yeah.
Like people procrastinate about everything. I'm not saying that because I have this mantra that I don't procrastinate or that I don't struggle sometimes to think, or I think it does matter. Like, so I have those challenges too. I just find that having this thing, it doesn't matter, it doesn't fucking matter, whatever, it cuts out the procrastination. You know, instead of me working through this climb, going, oh, the hut must be just there. The watch says there's only 200 meters left. It must be there.
Yeah.
But you know what? That GPS that I was following for tour, it said there was 0 meters of climbing left well before any hut that I got to every time. So it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the watch says. It
Yeah.
didn't matter that I couldn't see the hut. I had to go over this call anyway. So it didn't matter if that fucking call was 1,000 meters, 300 meters, or whatever. I had
Yeah.
to fucking get over it. So it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
Dinner was at the other side of the call.
Yeah. And that's what a mantra is. That's what a mantra is. A mantra is what just gets you there. It gets you to the finish. And like to keep showing up one for me, right? I know I say it, right? I say it. So the days when I don't want to go running, the days when I don't want to go running, and there's lots of days I don't want to go running. I'm tired, I'm hungry, and this and that, I'm lazy. But if I keep telling everybody to show up and I don't show up, then I'm a fraud. I'm a spoofer. And that's the last thing I couldn't live with that. So as tired as I am, as hungry as I am, as unmotivated as I am some days, I have to keep showing up because I can't be the guy telling you to show up if I'm not going to do it. And that's why that mantra works so well for me, the same way that mantra worked well for you. And that's what a mantra is. Find your mantra.
100%. And if you can't think of your own, please use ours. Use
Yeah,
ours.
yeah, yeah.
They're free to use and cut out the procrastination
There's
and get the
also
training done.
a smart ass friend of mine in the chat now, and he's after saying keep turning up, you know, because loads of people, especially like older people that don't really know what I'd be saying on Instagram or social media, they say, "What does your man always say?" He says, "Keep turning up."
Keep turning up the volume.
Yeah, yeah,
No doubt we will dig into this more because people have been messaging and there's been various group chats and things going on about it. So yeah, it'll develop as people can share their own stories about how they've maybe used that or thought about it at certain times. Let's wrap up the show, but let's shout out the community
yeah,
first. What about Phil Burnett and his family? He seems to be viewing, spectating, photographing every race going, and Tom, who I I think it might be is it Hannah's partner, his daughter's
uh,
partner? I'm not sure the relationship, but um, he's connected with Phil anyway, and Tom B is also in the Trail Talk community, but finished the Swiss Peaks 100K, I think in
yeah.
25 hours something. So
Solid.
yes, and also got that full ultra experience, more than 24 hours. So double tick on that one.
Yeah, got the sunset, got the sunrise.
Yep, full respect. And Tom, another one, UTMR, Ultra Trail de Monte Rosa, kind of a beast of a 100 mile, 170K race. 10 and a half, 11 and a half, something like that, 1,000 meters again. Cut short, stopped at 150k, didn't get his first miler done. Last year he did TDS, so
But
unfortunate,
he
but
was out for 44 hours, am I right? 44 hours.
44 hours.
Holy shit, man. So, Tom, respect, respect.
44 hours, I mean, two sunrises and two sunsets, so like,
Yeah, I couldn't comprehend that at all. Not right now. Jeez, that's insane, insane. Yeah,
yeah, I,
and Tom spent a lot of his time in Chamonix taking photographs and interviewing celebrities in the trail world and taking photos and enjoying life and enjoying everything. And he was super excited about that race. So I hope, Tom, you had a great experience. That's all I want to say.
well, 44 hours, we know that he definitely had an experience,
Yeah,
a life-changing experience. And then last shout out is Nick, our resident shoe expert. He was running Meyerhofen Ultrax in Germany, and it got stopped at 40k with bad weather.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not into all of these race stoppages with bad weather, but you know, shit happens. It just seems to happen an awful lot the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's look. It's usually thunder and lightning, right? It's usually when lightning is close or lightning is striking, and I get it. You know, like nobody wants to be that race anymore because there was a few races over the last couple of years where people died and people got hurt, and no race director wants that on their head. So unfortunately, I think that's just the way it's going to be from now on. That if there is severe weather warnings, it's going to be pulled, and that's just the way it's going, I think.
Yeah, you got to go on the side, err on the side of caution, but then the weather is getting more extreme.
Yeah.
So, you know, that just means there's more stoppages, but hey ho, that's how it is. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining another trail talk. I'm a little bit tired after the adventure, but I'm glad we got this done. You can catch up on all the podcast players tomorrow. We'll be back next week in the thick of it, in tour. Tour will be a day and a half in. So Ricky, you'll be having to do your tour work
Yeah.
next week for the show. I will obviously be out on course, so I don't know where I'll be sitting, but I'll make sure that I've got good signal to bring you the latest and greatest news from the Tour de Géants. Uh, I guess we want to wish everyone happy running this week, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing all your content with Tour. I'm looking forward to seeing shoes and gear big time, see what everybody's wearing. I liked when you did that last year where you were taking pictures of everybody's shoes. I think that's pretty cool to see what people are wearing in those kind of races. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. So,
See you later, mate.
peace.
Peace.